The young and the restless spoilers. Welcome back to our channel, fellow Genoa City residents. Today is an absolutely beautiful day, but inside the world of our favorite soap, it is an absolute storm of emotions after that latest episode. Let's dive right into the madness. I cannot even believe what I just watched. I am literally sitting here vibrating with rage and typing this up late at night, because if I don't get this out of my system, I am going to scream into a pillow. Are the writers actually serious right now? I have been watching this show religiously for years, and I have sat through some absolutely wild, ridiculous, completely unhinged storylines, but this is the most frustrating, agonizing, pull-my-hair-out plot twist they have ever done with Nick Newman. I mean, react first, explain later, right? Nick is going to prison. Nick is actually going to jail because he let Matt Clark play him like a cheap fiddle. I am so mad I can barely see straight. How did we even get here? How did the golden boy of the Newman family, the supposed moral compass, turn into an impulsive, knife-wielding maniac who walks right into the most obvious trap in the history of the show? Okay, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up to the absolute absurdity of the scene at the Newman Ranch. Can we talk about this sandwich scene for a second? Because I feel like I am losing my mind. Nick was literally just writhing on the floor in agony, fighting for his life after taking that tainted batch of fentanyl and cocaine that Matt planted. He was practically on his deathbed, sweating and convulsing. And now, suddenly, he's sitting at the ranch, completely calm, eating a sandwich like it's just a normal Tuesday. Adam is standing there looking at him like he has grown 3 heads, and honestly, Adam is all of us in that moment. Adam immediately assumes Nick has relapsed. And who could blame him? Because when a drug addict who was just poisoned suddenly acts like he's at a meditation retreat while his mortal enemy is still out there breathing, you naturally assume he is high out of his mind. But no, Nick just looks at him, takes a bite of his food, and says he's just hungry and he's detoxing. I mean, what? You do not just detox from a near-lethal drug poisoning and then casually enjoy a deli sandwich while plotting a murder. It makes zero sense, but it perfectly highlights how completely detached from reality Nick has become. And this brings me to a point that I am honestly struggling to accept. Am I the only one who is completely freaked out by the fact that Adam Newman is the voice of reason right now? I know some people are loving this Adam redemption era, but personally, it is giving me whiplash. I am so used to Adam being the black sheep, the chaotic one, the guy who would literally blow up a building to get his way. But here he is, begging his older brother not to throw his life away. Adam is literally pleading with Nick, telling him that premeditated murder is a terrible idea and a one-way ticket to a prison cell. Adam, the guy who used to go by the alias Spider in the Vegas underground. When Adam Newman is telling you that your criminal master plan is too reckless, you need to stop and reevaluate your life choices. But does Nick listen? Of course not. Because Nick is currently operating on pure, unadulterated ego and rage. Let's talk about this so-called master plan, because I am still laughing at how stupid it is. Nick actually admits to Adam that he is going to hunt down Matt Clark, kill him with his bare hands, and then use Detective James Burrow to cover it up and call it self-defense. I'm sorry, but since when is Nick Newman a criminal mastermind? Victor Newman, sure. Victor would have a team of highly trained mercenaries, a fake passport, and an ironclad alibi involving a charity gala in London. But Nick thinks he can just stab a guy and then wink at a local detective and make it all go away. Does he not realize that Detective Burrow is a cop in a town where the police department is basically a revolving door of incompetence and sudden bursts of extreme justice? You cannot trust a Genoa City cop to cover up a murder. Remember when they tried this kind of cover-up nonsense with J.T. Hellstrom? Yeah, didn't work then either. It always comes out. The cover-up is always worse than the crime, but Nick is too blinded by his own toxic masculinity to see it. So what does Nick do? He completely ignores the one person trying to save him from himself, hops in his car, and speeds off like a complete lunatic. I was screaming at the screen. Don't do IT, Nick. Turn the car around. But he's just gunning it, driving like a maniac, completely falling right into Matt Clark's trap, because of course, it's a trap. Matt Clark has been playing for D-chess this entire time. This is the same guy who faked amnesia with Noah, who locked Adam and Nick in a storage room, who poisoned the drug stash. Did Nick really think Matt was just going to be standing in an alley waiting to be murdered? Matt wants Nick to snap. Matt wants to prove that the high-end mighty Newmans are just as filthy and violent as he is. And Nick, in all his infinite stupidity, just handed Matt exactly what he wanted on a silver platter. Then we get to the actual confrontation, and I am still shaking my head in disbelief. Nick arrives, the trap is sprung, and instead of backing down or using his brain, Nick pulls a knife. A knife. Are you kidding me? He didn't bring a gun. He didn't bring backup. He brought a blade. It is so personal, so messy, and so incredibly out of character for the Nick we used to know. But I guess that's what the drugs and the trauma have done to him. He just charges at Matt like a wild animal. I was literally covering my eyes because I knew exactly how this was going to end. You don't just charge a seasoned psychopath like Matt Clark with a knife and expect to walk away clean. And he actually stabs him. Nick plunges the knife into Matt, and for a split second, you think, oh my god, he actually did it. He killed him, but no, because Matt Clark is basically a cockroach. You can step on him, you can poison him, you can stab him, and he just keeps coming back. Matt goes down, but it's not a fatal blow. It's just enough to make Nick look like a complete monster. And the worst part is the look on Matt's face. Even while bleeding, you just know Matt is laughing on the inside because he won. He got Nick to cross the line, he broke the golden boy, and right on cue, literally seconds after the stabbing, the police show up. The sirens blare, the red and blue lights flash, and there is Nick, standing over Matt with a bloody knife in his hand. It was almost like Matt had the cops on speed dial. It was too perfect. Matt orchestrated the entire thing to ensure there would be witnesses. Nick didn't even have a chance to call Detective Burrow to enact his stupid little cover-up plan. His entire strategy evaporated the second those squad cars pulled up. I felt this massive, sickening drop in my stomach because there is no talking your way out of that. You are holding the murder weapon, the victim is bleeding on the ground, and the cops have their guns drawn. It is game over. So now we have to deal with the absolute injustice of the aftermath. Matt gets loaded into an ambulance and taken to the hospital for what is basically a flesh wound. He's going to be fine. His injuries aren't even severe. He's probably going to get a sponge bath and a nice warm hospital meal while he plots his next move. Meanwhile, Nick is thrown into the back of a police cruiser in handcuffs. Nick, who was just trying to protect Sharon, and Noah. Nick, who has been tortured and poisoned by this absolute psycho. Nick is the one who is going to pay the ultimate price. I am so sick of the villains winning on this show. Why does Matt Clark get to survive everything while our favorite characters get their lives completely destroyed? And now we are facing the harsh reality that Nick is going to prison. Not just a night in the drunk tank, but a long, serious prison sentence for attempted murder. I am dreading this so much. I cannot stand prison storylines. They drag on for months, the characters look miserable in those orange jumpsuits, and it completely ruins the pacing of the entire show. We are going to have to watch Nick sit behind dirty glass while Sharon cries on a telephone receiver. We are going to have to watch Victor throw millions of dollars at lawyers while screaming at Michael Baldwin. It is going to be exhausting. I mean, remember when they locked up Victor? Or when Nikki was facing time? Is always a miserable viewing experience, and I am just not ready for Nick to go through it. What is this going to do to the family? Sharon just got unchained from a wall in Vegas. She has been through absolute hell. She almost lost Noah to Matt's violence, and she was desperately trying to save Nick's life when he collapsed from the drugs. She finally thinks they are safe, and now she's going to get a phone call that the love of her life is locked up for attempted murder. It's going to break her, and Noah. Noah just fought Matt with his bare hands to get him arrested earlier, only to find out his dad went and did something infinitely stupider. The trauma this family is going through right now is just unreal. They literally cannot catch a break. And let's not even talk about Victor. Oh my god, Victor is going to lose his absolute mind. He is already busy playing this sick, twisted psychological game with Phyllis, watching her self-destruct with that whole AI evidence scheme. But the second he finds out his son has been arrested and is facing a decade behind bars, Victor is going to drop everything. He is going to unleash hell on the Genoa City Police Department, on the district attorney, and especially on Matt Clark. If Nick couldn't finish the job, you better believe Victor will. I kinda want to see Victor destroy Matt, but I hate that Nick had to sacrifice his freedom to make it happen. I guess the only tiny glimmer of hope is Detective Burrow. Is Burrow actually going to stick his neck out for Nick now that the arrest has been made publicly? Nick mentioned having a plan with him, but can Burrow really tamper with an active crime scene with other cops present? I highly doubt it. If Burrow tries to cover this up now, he's going to end up in the cell right next to Nick. The whole thing is just a colossal mess. Nick thought he was being the big, macho protector, but all he did was hand his enemies a loaded gun. I know some fans out there are probably cheering right now. I've seen the forums. I know there are people who think Nick is arrogant and deserves to be knocked off his pedestal. And yeah, maybe he has been making terrible, drug-fueled decisions lately, but he doesn't deserve this. He doesn't deserve to lose his freedom over a piece of absolute trash like Matt Clark. I am just so emotionally drained by this episode. I need a glass of wine and a nap. But you better believe I will be glued to my screen tomorrow to see the fallout. Let me know in the comments if you guys are as furious as I am, or if you think Nick brought this entirely on himself. Because right now, I just need to know I'm not crazy for being this upset.